All right, folks, it's time for another DoorDash daily recap video. This is Joe, the 50 something Dasher. This is the recap for Tuesday, the 30th. And it it was not a good dash at all today. And let's just start with that. And I don't know why I was expecting like good numbers or similar to yesterday. I don't really know why I was expecting more because, like, historically, like all the last year, Tuesdays is usually my slowest days. So, but for just whatever reason, I was not expecting a slow day. I don't know, go figure. Um, didn't start quite as early this morning as yesterday. Today's start time was 5:06, and I you see here, first offer didn't come until 5:42. I sat here at this desk for quite a while before getting out of the apartment. So what is that? 36 minutes goes by before my first offer, and not really much explanation needed on this. 450, 5.7 miles, Jolly Pirate. That's a decline all the way. And then, so how long do I go here for the next? Well, I just go like 9 minutes more, and uh, 250 for. I'm not leaving the apartment for that. $2.50. Now this, I was going to say that these first two offers here, this is really rare for me, like that early in the morning. Usually before 6 o'clock in the morning, it's usually like an IHOP order or McDonald's, and they're usually in that $6 to $8 range, and like 7 to 10 miles. That's kind of typically what I see around this time frame. But it's like I said, it's extremely rare that I don't know that I've seen a $2.50 or below $3 before 6 o'clock in the morning before. So, but it was so a weird start to the morning, and then another 15 minutes goes by, and I'm not taking this one either. $8 going clear out to the west side. This looks like well, not quite as far as like Westland Mall and the casino area, a little bit south of that, but that was a decline. Um, so, like I said, not off to a good start. Finally, as it got closer to 7 o'clock, finally I still don't have a good order yet, but I've been sitting here for almost 2 hours, so I finally leave the apartment and start heading down to the restaurants. And so it must have been about 6:45 roughly when I got into the car and took off. And so I took this order, even though it's going out of zone north, but it's only 5 items, and I at this point I just need to be on an order. See, that's going to be the main problem with this cherry picking that I'm going to do, and the new criteria I've talked about. So the problem for me in my zone with all this, and why it may not work, and I may have to revert back to what I did before, because here in my zone, I just don't get that many offers. If I was to do an experiment, and I was, let's say, even on like a Thursday or Friday, and I was to just, well, either sit here at home or drive to one of the three pickup areas, and my plan was to just sit for 8 straight hours and decline everything just to see how many total offers I got in a shift. I wouldn't be surprised if I only got like 30 total offers. So that's the problem with cherry picking. When you don't get the offers, you can't, you know, how can you really be selective? See, I've talked about it before. I don't live in New York City or Chicago, Los Angeles, Tokyo, or London. You know, I don't live in any of these places. Where Dashers in all of those areas, these are probably the ones that you see on YouTube where they say, "Oh, I just go, my phone goes off and I just decline, 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 decline in like in 1 minute time, all in a span of like 1 to 2 minutes, I'll decline six straight offers, and before I get to a good one, I don't get that frequency of offers." You know, if I you saw on these first few screenshots, if I decline something, it may be 20, 30 minutes before I get the next offer. So, and I'll go more over some other numbers like hourly rates and everything like that at the end of this video. So, I know I haven't dashed much in January. It's not a big sample size yet, but it's not looking too good like right out of the gate. And of course, I'll get to that. But anyway, I took this order. Here's the list. This is all the items except for one item is cut off of this screenshot, and I'll get to that one item here in a second. But I got into this store. Of course, I'm pumped. Okay, this is my first order. I'm energized. Okay. Boom. Let's get in the store and knock this order out. And I wanted to do this as fast as I could. I've talked about before, my wife doesn't have faith in me. She says I'm not a good shopper in a grocery store. I feel like I can shop in a store. And I can knock out orders and I can find stuff. You better believe it. So I storm in there. I don't even get my grocery cart inside the store. I get it from outside the store, and I'm storming through into the, front doors with my grocery cart, and I'm motoring through this store. We're talking 1980s style Jane Fonda type of walking here, only I'm not swinging my arms like that. I'm pushing a grocery cart, but still, that's kind of speed I was going at here. And I was going to go to the middle of the store for that coffee, which I did. Got that right. What 1 second? Boom! I found it. Scanned it. Go. Boom! Off to the far end of the store, the cold wall. Got a motor over there. These two cream cheeses. It was like 1 second each. Boom! Find it. Scan. Boom! Put it in my cart. Second time. Scan. Boom! And I'm flooring it. There's been a couple times before I've actually ran in the stores before. Nobody's ever said to me before, but I have done it. I'm going over to the bakery. I'm like, I'm gonna shop this whole thing in 2 minutes flat, and I'm gonna take a screenshot, and we'll see who can shop in a store and who can't here. So I get over to the bakery. Everything bagels, boom, right there. Pick it up, scan it, in the cart. I just got one item left. It's another thing of bagels, but it's these cinnamon swirl bagels. Okay, I look real quick. Don't see it. I see cinnamon raisin. Okay. Now I'm tripped up. Now I have to click item unavailable. The substitution comes up. It's the cinnamon swirl for another brand, Aunt Millie's. I walk over a few feet to the Aunt Millie. Same thing there. They just have cinnamon raisin. There's no cinnamon swirl. Okay. So there goes the whole 2 minute shop. Now it's absolutely ruined. And then it asks for a shelf picture. I take the picture with the two types of bagels, send it to the customer. Would you like, something else? I wait. It's probably about, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, no reply. And I'll get to this here in a second. It's the subject of today's video. Then I call the customer. They want you to call the customer before you just check out. So I call, 5 or 6 rings, nobody's picking up, I hang up, then I send a message and I put, and so the reason I word this the way that I do is because DoorDash later on, if there's an issue, they can see all these in-app text messages that you send to the customer. So I wrote a message, no reply to a text or a phone call. I will be checking out without that item and you will be refunded for the missing item. Thank you. Send the message. And now I'm off to the cash register. But I still have a hard time understanding, like, and this wasn't delivering to a business, it was a house, somebody's house. So if I don't know if somebody, because most everybody watching this video, you may be a dasher, but chances are you're a customer as well. And I want to know, let somebody let me know, like, what would be some of the reasons why a customer just would not respond? Because I'm totally confused by this. Are they like maybe here's how I've always done things as a customer. Oh, I want something from DoorDash. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna pick up my phone. Okay, pull up the DoorDash app. Let's see. Okay. I want Meyer. Okay, so I'm putting in coffee and 2 Philly cream cheeses, bagels. Okay, select my tip, payment method, submit. Okay, and then I kind of like then I go about my business watching TV or whatever I'm doing, and then but I'm still kind of like tracking the progress of this order on the app. And if by chance a dasher calls me or messages me, I know that I have an order that somebody's working on, and if there's an issue, I pick up the phone. So I'm a little bit confused why. I don't know. Is it that they just, could it be they just don't want to communicate with people, or I don't get it. I don't understand it. Or I'm not for sure, but can you place orders? I think you can think it, but I've never personally done this. Can you place orders for DoorDash where you place it like a day before or something like that? Or let's say last night after Meyer was closed, they place an order for with a scheduled delivery time is 7:15 in the morning. I don't know. And they scheduled that in advance, and the reason why they're not answering me is because they're in bed still asleep, and it'll get delivered when I wake up in the morning. I just go downstairs and open the door and there's my order. I mean, is that what's going on? Or who knows? um Maybe they don't speak English. That's a possibility as well to consider. But for that to for me to continuously have that issue as frequently as I do, that's the if it just happened every once in a blue moon, I wouldn't think a whole lot of it. But man, I'd have to say on my shopping orders, if I was to give a percentage, I'd say at least 30% of the time when I need to contact the customer about something, they don't answer. And that seems like a high percentage to me. I don't know. I just don't get that. I don't understand. So if anybody can help me out here, so that I don't fry my brain too much over this subject, please, by all means, help me out in the comments. Make me understand, because I don't get it, folks. I really don't. And then I come out of Meyer. GPS is wanting me to take the interstate, but this is, you see here, this is shortly after 7 o'clock in the morning. And the long line of rush traffic trying to get on the freeway. And that's another thing. I used to, one of my first jobs way back years ago, this would have been like 1993, 94 range. And I worked for him a couple different times. Um, but right there at that intersection, it used to be called RPS, Roadway Package System. Years later, it got bought out by FedEx, and that's what it is now, a FedEx terminal. But when I worked there back in the early 90s, all that whole strip that's there now, that's one of my hotspot areas, and that whole strip was like farmland. It because all that was there was the RPS and like a BP gas station, and that was it. And then the rest of it was cornfields at that time. So then years later, they go and build up that area. They add lanes to the road, and they start building that area up and all the businesses and everything. And so when they expanded the roads and the on ramp to the interstate there, well, not necessarily that on ramp, but the bridge going across the interstate, and they widen that. I first guessed this right and whenever this was, it wasn't when I worked at RPA. It was years later, like early 2000s, so somewhere in that range. I forget what year. But I took a look at what they were doing, and I first guessed this right when they were starting the construction. Like why in the world did they just have one? You're talking like there's like 3 lanes going in one direction, and only the right hand lane is for turning onto the interstate. You turn onto the interstate, and there's this huge football sized grassy area that's not, you can't use for anything except to just have grass there. And I first guessed it. Why in the world they would not have the 2 right lanes turn onto the interstate, and then along, that long on ramp, and then after you make your turn, then the 2 lanes merge into one. Because then you wouldn't have this one single lane of cars backed up like 3 or 4 traffic lights. It's just the stupidest thing. So anyway, I come up to traffic. I saw it was all backed up, and there was even like a car in front of me backing up and reversing direction, and because the line was too long, and all the crap with that. I turned the other way. I'm going to go the city streets to this customer instead of the interstate, and when I turned the other way and GPS rerouted, it actually took 3 miles off of my route. So whatever that, however many miles that screenshot said, it was actually 3 miles less than that. And I hit most of the lights. I went right past the high school. There was no traffic around there, and so I avoided the mess. But yeah, that can sometimes early mornings, the rush hour traffic and the school traffic, and that can be, it can be really tricky, and definitely add aggravation. The pay screen, so 9.75 DoorDash, $3 tip, paid 12.75. So, good order there, I'd have to say. So I closed that out at 7:31. Again, here we go. This is normally a busy time for me. 7:30. I actually 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock all the way to 8:30. That's usually busy. Boom, 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 boom with the orders. I go 23 minutes here without an order. And I mean, I'm not taking this. I mean, that's going like near downtown. So that's like 40 cents a mile on this one. No way. So that's a decline. And then right away I get something better. And I know what I said about $4 orders and less. I was going to try to stop taking them, but I need an order here. I need to get moving. And you don't see my pin position here because I'm actually right there. I'm right at Wendy's. I'm not sitting, or well, it's Wendy's and Tim Hortons, but I'm not sitting in their parking lot. I'm sitting in a parking lot that's right behind it that I sometimes call the DoorDash graveyard. Because yeah, it's where you'll see drivers camped out in that little parking lot that's not assigned to anybody, it's just there. That's a graveyard. Sometimes the Meyer parking lot is a DoorDash driver graveyard, and I park there a lot. I parked in both of the graveyards today. I can't help it. I can't help conforming and dying in the same graveyards as everybody else. But I took this, and I was actually eating in my car. I was eating a thing of yogurt. So I finished up my yogurt real quick and then, moved my car over 100 feet, whatever it was, and got this order. Um, Next, so 8:13. So didn't have to wait too long after completing that for the next order. I took this because I need. I don't want to sit and wait. I've been sitting and waiting most of the time. This is nine miles. It's going south. I don't really want to go down to this area, but it is what it is. I could tell this was going to be a bad day, and screw it, I'm taking it. Um, so the pay breakdown on that: 275 DoorDash, 350 tip. So, and you figure 15 miles on my car for that, because you're when I go down to that area, it's just straight 100% deadheading back. There's nothing, there's nothing to pick up down there and bring back. So it's deadhead. This I took this, um, and again, look at the wait here, a half hour. So I dropped this off, and I was actually like, I think I was heading home at this point, or maybe I can't remember for sure, but yeah, another half hour goes by, no orders, and I I kind of I want to do another order here. I mean, so call it being bored, call it impatient. I mean, I don't know, but I took this just to be on something. It's going south. It's, and I don't know if I'm gonna have to drive away of a longer trip like this, and I'd rather it be going south than going north towards like downtown and busier areas. If I'm gonna, you know, grab orders like this, best that it's going south. Um, so next was, and for this one I was at home. I came home. I was able to. I'm having problems with the charging situation for my phone in my car. So I had a device that's now not working. I come home, I messed around with that for a minute or two and went to the bathroom, and then I get this offer, and I went ahead and took it. It's all in one zone. in my zone. I'm not leaving the zone, and I'm just delivering to one customer. So two orders for the price of, three stops. It could have been worse. It could have been four stops. I don't know. I didn't think this was too bad. Um, and so I go and get this. I get the Taco Bell. No problems with that. That was ready when I got there. Go to the Wendy's, and uh, with this Wendy's order and my earlier McDonald's, so they're both on my Stringtown Road pickup area. With both of those restaurants, for the very first time, they both of those locations move their pickup shelves for DoorDash orders to behind the counter. So for the very first time at these two locations, I had to ask a staff or tell a staff member the name of who I was picking up for, and they had to hand me the order. So it was no longer sitting out for just anybody to get. Um, that's I would still prefer the staff members making me show my phone and confirm the order on my phone. I wish they would do that as well, but having to get a name first and then them hand you the order, that's better than nothing. That's better than the way it was. So it's some progress. So this will prevent, just in that maybe those stores had a problem with just some customer, like not even a DoorDash driver, just some random person walking in there looking at their phone, acting like they were the delivery driver, and just pick up a bag and go. So at least, that prevents that situation. Um, the stealing can still go on, obviously, even if the staff uh, makes you confirm the order in front of it. Some of these dashers out there, the stealing can still continue because you pick up the order, you confirm the order in front of them, go out to your car and just drop the order, and just you just make up a reason and drop the order. Which obviously I've never done that, but there's there's dishonest drivers out there for sure. I mean, with as many drivers as there are out there, there's there's bad apples. So I pick up the Taco Bell. I go to the Wendy's, which, like I said, they had to hand me the sack for the first time. And uh, this was surprising too. I pull out of there. I'm I always expect leaving out of there that I got to make a right hand turn. If you want to try to make a left out of that Wendy's, you want to talk about like a nightmare and the worst place in my whole entire zone to make a left hand turn without a traffic light. So I pull up out of there. I'm in the right hand lane, and it's just after 10 o'clock in the morning. So this is kind of like a slow time. I pull up and I'm like, wait a minute. Look, I kind of look both ways. I may be able to make this left hand turn. Sure enough, I just waited on like three cars and I made a left out of the wrong lane. There was nobody behind me. I made a left hand turn without a light at that location. That's rare. Um, and then got to the customer, and it's funny. There was a DoorDash bag in the car parked next to me, and then like a McDonald's bag sitting there, like that had a delivery from McDonald's, and it looked like it was still sealed and everything, but there was nobody in the car. Or that was kind of weird. I wonder how long that food had been sitting there. But anyway, and then so I dropped the order off, and I had another first today. The first time where the app, I was delivering two orders, but the app only had me take one picture. So I took my picture thinking it was just for the first order, and then I'm in an area where I don't have a good cell phone service. So I seen the spinning wheels. The app was like, it was like processing or whatever. And I couldn't go the next step. And I'm standing there. I figure I need another picture for the second order. And I'm waiting. And I had to take a picture and save it to my camera roll because I couldn't just keep standing there. So I get back to my car and drive away a little bit, and like the pay screen comes up. So it never asked for it. One picture submitted closed out both of the orders, which is the way it should be. But that's the first time that that's happened to me, like that. So hopefully that continues. Um, what do you think I did on this? You think this was a um do you think I accepted this or declined this? I actually accepted this order because no, I didn't. I didn't accept it. Uh 375 11 miles. I no. Um this wasn't much better. 925 11 miles. I just at this particular time, and it's 10:21. You see here, so it's we're approaching 10:45 where it starts to get busy. I didn't want to. If I would have took this, I I might not have gotten back to my zone until past 11 and missed everything. So yeah, that was a decline. I was also at Walmart and I declined this and went inside Walmart to get a couple things. So that was at 10:21, and so 10:43. My next order. This was a good one. $7 Panera, only 3 miles. So I went ahead and took this. After I got in Panera, I realized that DoorDash had added a peak, a $1 peak pay, and that was from this time until it said through 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had to wait on this order. The staff was just kind of like moseying around. They didn't care. They were just half asleep and probably didn't want to be there, and they didn't care how quickly they were processing orders. They were just taking their sweet old time, and so I got there's when I got the order and closed it out in that. So I went 11 minutes 21 seconds. So probably about like right around the 10 minute. It was a pizza and a drink. So right around the 10-minute mark, they were taking the pizza out of the oven, and so that's what I knew they were finishing it up. So that's why I went. Just stuck it out the extra minute and a half. The pay on that, there you see the peak. So $2 plus $1, and then the $4 tip. So again, pretty good order. So I closed that out at 11:09, and again wait 7 minutes for it at 11 o'clock, top of 11 o'clock, my busiest hour, and I wait 7 minutes for an offer. Uh, Not doing this. Not going clear out. It looks like it's past Lockbourne even, and um, almost 16 miles for $12, and then plus your miles back. So that was a decline. Then another decline. Um, this one in I don't know. I, this isn't too bad. It's only one item, but I just man, I just didn't want to mess around with South High Street, so that which is where this was going, and it's going into so it's north of 270, so that's going into kind of a bad area like where the drive-in is, and just didn't want to mess with that area. And I mean, come on, it's like now it's like 11:30. I mean, I can't get something better than this. So I declined it. Um, and then then I wait another 9 minutes in my busiest hour. These like 9 minute waits. Like what the heck? And so again, even though I'd already been down in this area, I went ahead and took this. I mean, okay, if this is all I can get is like a longer distance trip, like I said, I'd rather go south than up in that rough, south, whatever it's called, South End Drive In, High Street Drive. I forget what it's even called. It's been around since before I was alive. It was a long time ago. Very old drive-in. We used to set up and sell at the flea market there on the weekends. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So I took this order, um, and it delivers like just going along following GPS or whatever. It delivers almost to the same location as that previous order down there. But it wasn't the same customer, but very close. Within probably like I don't know, within like 100 yards or so. And then so I drop that off, and then I have to deadhead back. Here's the pay screen on that. $2 plus $1, $5 tip. So wasn't bad. It just except for the mileage. I thought I was going to go way over on mileage today, but of course I'll get to that. Next, didn't wait too long for the next offer. I would have if it's like man, like I looked at this screen and I was like, if only that second pin wasn't in downtown Columbus, Ohio. Oh man, I would have done $22, 14 miles, 15 items. I would have done this. Couldn't that pin have just been anywhere else? I mean, I would have even done like Obets even. Probably like, I don't know, probably an 80% chance I would have taken it if it was here. I definitely would have taken it if the pin was over here, like West Broad, Lincoln Village area or something like that. Or even a little bit north of it, like Hilliard. Anywhere except for here. But so there you go. There's another two declines. Thank you very much. It's just like I said, just not a good day. And then and then here, so I took this. This was kind of like, and how much. So that was pretty much right after I declined the previous one. This isn't nearly as much money. It's less than half the money, but this is more up my alley. It's all in zone. Um, 8 items. It's only $8, and I had a hunch that with the dollar peak, so this is like $7 from DoorDash, probably plus the peak, and I was almost for sure this is probably going to be a zero tip. I was, pretty sure on that. So then the list on this one, or at least part of the list anyway. I pulled this up like before I even clicked arrived at store. So what I did was I saw the toothbrush, So once I got out of my car, I waited to click start shopping until I got clear over across the store to HBC. Then I clicked start shopping, grabbed the toothbrush, grabbed my cart, and then tracked back to the other side of the store to get all the grocery items. That's how I do that. Um, and then this item up top here, that's I think that's the last item I look for. That was the trickiest item. I've never seen this or heard of this before. So is it a patty or a turnover? I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is whatever this is looks weird to me. I mean, I usually am brave and try all different kinds of foods, but this I don't know. This looks questionable here. Uh, I look where all the other beef patties are in that aisle three that it says there. I don't see anything. I'm about to give up on it. I walk down a little bit further, and then I see it's in a bigger, or I'm sorry, it's in a smaller package than what I was kind of expecting or looking for. It is on the top shelf, and so I found them. Um, and so here's the time it took me. So even with having to track across the store and struggling on the Jamaican beef patties, even with that, I still finished at almost 10 minutes flat, and that was 4 minutes under the suggested recommended time. So, still did good. And then I was driving to this customer. It's a really janky apartment complex. I've delivered to many times before, so the zero tip coming from somebody in that apartment complex doesn't surprise me. And thank you for fixing your entrance to the complex, by the way, the road and the meteor sized pothole that used to be there. Thank you for fixing that, by the way. Just throwing that out there. But before I got to the entrance of the complex, GPS, the pin was actually at this business that's before the complex that I've delivered to before. And I saw the where it was directing me to turn. I said, wait a minute, I'm not even in the complex yet. GPS wants me to turn here. So I turned, just to be following GPS, but and just to take a look at the address on the building, which of course didn't match. And so that was really weird. So I had to, the customer left a building number in their instructions. So I was completely without GPS entering this complex, and I had to, as I was driving by each apartment building, I had to look at the building numbers. And then, they also left some other good instructions about the color of car that was going to be parked out front. And so it, because of that customer hadn't have left those instructions like that, then I would have had a tough time. Is this probably would have taken me like 5-10 minutes longer to find the customer without those instructions. So they didn't tip, but the instructions were much appreciated. Thank you. Here's the pay screen, and as I predicted, it was a zero tip, so 7 from DoorDash, and then the peak pay. Um, and then I got I don't know, maybe my best offer of the day. This 13.50, only 5 miles, Panda Express. From that apartment complex, I got this as I was leaving the complex, and didn't even have to get out onto the main road to get to, because I'm kind of like behind the Panda Express, so I didn't even have to get out on the main road, backed into Panda Express. Um, had to wait a few minutes in there. I got in my notes is I was trying to, if I get in there and the order's not ready, I immediately click on. I do this on all my orders where it says, tell us what's happening at this restaurant. I always click on that. And in this situation, I was gonna click order still being prepared when I arrived. Well, my app starts freezing up on me. So I had some issues with, and like I said in that previous video, this last video or the one before, I ran into this issue, and I'm still going to be recording a video on this. I'll probably schedule that to air not like this coming weekend, but the weekend after. So I think I'll probably post these two videos like on Sundays, I'm thinking. So the first one was on contract violations. So I'll post that this coming Sunday, and then the following Sunday, my video on the connection issues and what I do when the app freezes on me because of a bad signal. The steps that I take. So I had to go through all those steps. Finally got the app back up again and everything working, and was able to confirm the pickup of this order and be on my way. And then, so then I delivered that, and it was just after 1 o'clock when I went ahead and, or that's when I completed the order. So you see here, $9.50 customer tip on that. So, much appreciated. And then here is, I'm missing well, no, I'm not. I'm not missing a screenshot, but, so I logged off just after that, because I didn't meet goal. I could have stayed on longer, but it was a bad day to this point, and really slow. So I just went ahead and called it a day after that order, so I could get some lunch or whatever. But so 7 hours 59 minutes dash time. So you might as well say 8 hours, and almost identical to yesterday in the active time. You see 3:47. Again, 10 deliveries, just like yesterday. Made $71.56. And I mentioned earlier, I thought the mileage was going to be like way over, but 83 miles. So I thought it was going to be like over 100, but so 12 miles over. Not the end of the world. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now at 2,538 lifetime deliveries. I thought I'd give an update on my customer rating, which hasn't changed whatsoever since the last change to it of any kind was back on December 17th. So like a month and a half, where, and that was at 2,451 orders. So I've gone like almost 100 orders with like no change at all to it. But so ever since December 17th, it's been, I'm at 4.89. I have 3 4-stars, 2 1-stars, and 3 exclusions. By the way, that no tip, that apartment complex earlier, I forgot to hold this up. That's my next 1-star. I bet you anything on it that's going to be my next 1-star. But the next, according to my records and everything, my calculations, I could be wrong about this, but the next thing that, according to my records, it's supposed to fall off is one of the exclusions, which I earned clear back on September 21st. So you're talking like over 3 months, and that hasn't fallen off. That was at 1,860 orders. So we're coming up on, um, what is that? We're coming up on 700 orders or deliveries for that exclusion falls off. It's just, I don't know, that's just crazy. That stuff, you know, they tell you, oh, if you get a bad rating or whatever, don't worry because it's only on your last 100 customer ratings, so it'll fall off. But yeah, but it takes like 800 deliveries to get 100 ratings. Because if only 1 in 8 people decides to leave you a rating. So anyway, that's it for this dash. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos. Probably, the next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I hope to dash each day and do a recap each of those days as well. So watch out for those videos and the video on Sunday. And until next time, thanks again.